There is a mysterious horror that plagued vampires, one whose origins remain a mystery to this day and treatments have been lost to time. Due to the effects it has on its host, this parasitic phenomenon presents unfortunate moments for witnesses while creating an eternal hell for those infected. Corroded blood is a rare phenomenon that damages the vampire's body, decreasing their energy at speeds faster than normal. While the corroded blood, or CB for short, is in action, it forces the vampire into a state of hunger that may seem impossible to satiate. But in reality, they're feeding a parasite that forces priority before giving the infected their proper share of nutrients. This makes the vampire lose their sanity, attacking anyone around them, draining their blood completely. While they may unintentionally consume vampire blood, one key aspect about it is that it becomes vile upon consumption. Due to the sporadic and rare nature of this phenomenon, there aren't many reports regarding its origin or traces. Is it inherited, genetic, or caused by external means? Most vampires treat it like a secret, as to not stir conflict and conspiracy to non-vampires. However, from what we've gathered, CB seems to only affect those nearing adulthood and older. So far, no child has been reported to have corroded blood. But that isn't to say that children and infants are exempt either. In fact, it is possible that the parasite lies dormant in children, awaiting the time where their bodies have undergone the drastic changes to finally take effect. Only time will tell. Now you're probably wondering, isn't there a cure to corroded blood? Or at least, has anyone found a way to reduce its effects? That's the tricky part. There are only 2 cures discovered. However, remember when I said the treatments are lost to time? Let's talk about that. Leviathan blood, a cure accidentally discovered during a feeding rampage. Only a small amount was needed to completely rid the vampire of the parasites. Unfortunately, leviathans are no longer an option, as they went extinct many centuries ago. Now, there has been a theory that blood from dragons and draconic beings could be a possible cure. A couple, a few centuries ago, were struggling with what is most likely to be corroded blood. While the husband was fighting against his hunger, the wife made the decision to force him to bite her. While she wasn't drained completely, the husband did recover shortly after. It was after a few episodes until he was cured of corroded blood. The vampire you see before you, Sharon Florapine, is in a relationship with a draconic girlfriend themselves. So why are they still affected by CB? This setback happens to be the dragon blood law that started sometime before their birth. Many regions forbid vampires from consuming Draco blood of any capacity, thanks to a certain war that drove a wedge between vampires and Dracos. Failure to adhere to this rule will result in immediate execution to that vampire. That is one of the reasons why Sharon simply refuses to consume their girlfriend's blood. In fact, let's have a look at them. After all, they are a contributor to this research entry. Sharon has a rather eccentric relation with corroded blood. You see, he is a swordman who is also a blood artist, a person who is able to use blood arts. As more blood is used in the process, more energy is consumed as a result. However, with CB, things happen differently. For starters, due to its influence in their blood, Sharon is able to poison his targets with even the smallest cuts. This poison is a neurotoxin that compels targets to aid Sharon, either fighting by their side or being used as nourishment. Sadly, the downside is just as brutal. For starters, the structure and design of the swords are incomplete, imperfect. Blood is used as an extension of his body, and CB decides to act as a placeholder for that missing blood. But the body doesn't know how to process the foreign substance within it, and so it fights against the corroded blood's invasion. The battle, in short, confuses the body, eventually turning on itself. Slowly, Sharon's body decays as corroded blood takes full effect. They become extremely pale from the blood loss, veins blacken due to the presence of the disease. The structure of their limbs transform to match the feral states of Sharon's condition. Meanwhile, their wings undergo their own decay. The membrane becomes tar-like, and as the wings turn completely to tar, this makes it difficult for Sharon to move. This could be the only saving grace for unexpected victims. In terms of possible hope for Sharon, there is, thankfully, one. Being a creative potion maker, Yurish, their brother, has made a few potions that seem to have potential. While terrible in taste, Sharon only needs to ingest a cup in order to be free of corroded blood for up to 7 months. A small step that the family is hoping to make a mile. This progression is crucial for Sharon. Not only does it keep the disease at bay, it prevents them from dealing any harm to their loved ones, their homeland, and especially their girlfriend. Sharon is a popular swordsman from Riverhill Town, contributing to many victories against invaders, and for his charming and chivalrous personality. Exposure to this disease could jeopardize any lives involved, his included. Corroded blood is a parasitic phenomenon that turns vampires into mindless, bloodthirsty creatures. They go after whoever they can get their hands on to feed the parasite housed inside them. What awaits them afterwards is a path bathed in blood and tragedies. What I find fascinating about this disease is the debate that takes place among those who are aware of it. Some vampires claim it to be a birth defect that forms later on in life. Others claim it's a virus that found its way to unexpected vampires while feeding. I find myself at a loss for a proper term. I called it a parasite, phenomenon, disease, due to its bizarre nature related to the body. It doesn't seem to take form as something, rather as an entity that takes control over the body. One thing we can all agree on, however, is that despite being a rare occurrence, corroded blood is bound to create terrible stains on the vampire's already conflicting reputation with the rest of the world. Despite the situation regarding cures, let's hope Yurish won't be the only one to put an end to all of this.